Hey everybody, it's Sam McGuire. Today I want to just do a little product demo with the SE Electronics USB2200a microphone and also the Project Studio Reflexion filter, which is also made by SE Electronics. So what we've got here is a microphone which is actually really cool because it not only has USB output, but it also has XLR output, which means you can hook it up to any of your existing microphone equipment. Now, as we're looking at this, what I want to show you is some of the stuff on the microphone, and then I want to show you a little bit about this reflection filter as well. That's what this item is around the microphone that we're looking at right now. Now, this allows us to actually control some of the room acoustics and allows us then to use this microphone in a place where it might otherwise not sound very good. Say you have hard reflective walls or you're in a square room, etc. Well, this is going to really help prevent some of that stuff. So you can see how easy it is to move it around. So let's look a little closer at the mic now. Now this microphone is actually really cool. Number one, because it has very low noise. And that's something that we don't have in a lot of USB microphones. So you can see on the back here, the knob in the left-hand corner is a volume for the headphones. And then we also have the USB port on there and a place to hook in headphones. So you can actually listen to what you're doing straight from the microphone without having to go to your computer. So the other three things we have here are, first of all, a pad. This allows us to adjust the level of the microphone going into your computer or microphone preamp. So if you have something really loud, this will turn it down so it won't overload the microphone. The next thing we have is this switch in the middle. The P lets you hook it in at the PC level. The A lets you hook it in at the Apple level. And then the dot does a medium in-between level. So you can actually compromise there. The last thing we have here is a roll-off, which allows us to roll off low frequency. So if you're in a place that there's some low rumble happening, or if you're going to be handling the mic and moving it around, you might want to get rid of that too, because sometimes just touching the mic or moving it has some low frequency effect from that. So it's really going to boost that up. Next, let's look at how this microphone is actually hooked up here. So this is actually very cool. The part that is attached to the sides with the knobs allows you to tighten it, and then we can actually tighten the angle on this bracket. And then the pole that's coming off there is actually from the reflection filter and allows us to attach that to the extension bar so it goes out. Now looking at the bottom of the mic, you can see we have an XLR output, which means we can actually hook this up without using USB at all. Okay, so now let's look a little bit at how we hook this in. Plug the USB cable in, you'll see the red light comes on when that's attached to a computer. It's actually powered off of that bus as well. We can tighten down the reflection filter arm and then make adjustments as needed. Okay, so we can move it back in to the reflection filter area, which is going to prevent side and back reflections. It's going to absorb a lot of that sound. We can adjust it up and down, and you can see as I turn around, you can see the SE logo there. And then that side is actually designed to reflect sound off and diffuse it a little bit, so that helps minimize some of the room sound as well. There is another model to this, which is one step up, and that really changes that outer shell, so you get more diffusion. But you can see from the room I'm in here that we have some other treatments going on, and so that's one of the reasons why I don't worry about it, because I'm already minimizing some of those reflections with other things, so I actually got the one step down on the reflection filter. If you're in a very hard room, well, that may be an example of how you want to actually hook that up with that upper level reflection filter. System preferences now, so I can show you how this looks when you actually hook it in. So I hooked this mic up, and I haven't done anything in terms of installing software or anything. So you can see that it shows up right here as the SE USB2200a for output and for input. So I can choose that for either one. Now you can see a level coming off of that, and I've got it turned down kind of low because this is quite a high output microphone, which is really great. It means that we're going to have less problems with noise. It also has a circuit specially designed to help reduce noise, which is something that not a lot of USB microphones have. So this is what it looks like when you actually want to do this. You can actually use this for your main output of your system. If you want to do that here, I've got a different interface attached for my output, and then this attached for my input. So just two different things we can do with that. So then when we come into any programs like Final Cut Pro, we could actually use this now as our output and input if we want to record some audio over our track in there, do a voiceover, etc. This is a low noise option. Sounds pretty good, and with that reflection filter we're going to be able to have a nice dead environment. So we're not going to have a lot of interesting reflections and other things interfering with our sound. So that's something to consider with this. Now I've also got a pop filter on this, which means I'm not going to be able to do a lot of puff sound. Let me give you an example here. This is with it on. Puff, puff. Let me take it off. Puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. So that's with it back on, the last two there. But you heard when I had it off how loud that puff was. And it can actually be a little bit dangerous if you're doing that with speakers or with headphones. Okay, so let me just give you an example now. I'm going to move my pop filter out of the way. And then I'm going to use this microphone with and without the reflection filter. So first, let me pull the reflection filter out. You're hearing me adjust this. Let me pull it straight out. So this is without the reflection filter. Not bad of a room. It's actually pretty dead. I've got some treatment going on, but you can definitely hear a little bit more space around the sound. Let's put this back on now. Okay, you can instantly hear just a little bit of subtle difference there with a lot of the openness going away, but we have a lot tighter sound with this. So now I'm going to also move the microphone back further inside the reflection filter so it's really tight in there, right up almost against the back. And then I'll move my voice in as well. So now you get nice presence on the voice, but hardly any ambient sound or reflection sound. So it's a great way to get a tight sound in a non-ideal environment. Okay, adjust it back to where I had it before. Put my pop filter back up in place. And now we can do any kind of voiceover recording that we want. Okay, so that's the SE Electronics USB2200a microphone in USB mode using the SE Electronics Project Studio Reflection filter.